guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we are building a castle. You guys have already seen it in the thumbnail. I've never actually built a castle before, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. It's not the most detailed castle. Like, I see these crazy, amazing castles on Twitter and Instagram, and it's nothing like that. It's kind of a simple castle, but that's what I wanted to do to start out because, like I said, I've never built this before and I kind of want to, and I don't have a clue how to build those really complex castles that I see other people build. So I kind of wanted to do this just to get used to it a little bit, get used to the roofing. And I tried the round rooms again, and I'm telling you, I don't think I like them any better than I did originally. I don't know if it's just me. Hopefully it's not just me, but they are just super glitchy for me, and it's very hard to place items in them. And just overall, I just have not had very much luck with the round rooms so far. But I will go on and put the picture that inspired this build up on the screen where you guys can see it. I don't know any information about this. I'm not 100% sure because it's been a couple days since I built this, but I'm pretty sure that there wasn't any information on this pin. Like, I don't think it had an artist name or anything like that. It should be pinned on my Pinterest if you guys are interested, but I don't think there was any description or anything like that with this pin. It's just like artwork. But I thought this house was so pretty and I wanted to try to build it in The Sims. So this was the castle that I chose to try and build, and it took me a little while. This video is a lot longer than my normal videos, so hopefully you guys can hang in there with me. But yeah, it took me a really long time, and actually I think I mentioned this in my last speed build, my modern desert home. I was talking about how I would love to delete all the pre-made houses or buildings in The Sims and kind of create my own on each lot. And I know that sounds like a save file, but I don't think I could ever put in the work that a save file would require. I think it would have to be something that I did accidentally, if that makes sense. But anyway, I just kind of would like to do that and make, remake all the lots in the world, basically. And I think that would be fun. And then when I play in my save files, then I would have all these houses that I knew that I built, and I think that would be fun. And I've kind of been thinking about that lately. And so I actually went on and did it, and I deleted all the houses in Windenburg. I kind of lost the energy after that, but I went on and deleted all of them in Windenburg, and that's where we're building this house. And so I was gonna let this house be the first one that was in that world, kind of. And I actually am not gonna keep it. I'm a little bit unhappy with it. It's the interior that I don't like, and you guys will see that when we get there, but there's nothing wrong with it. I think I was just really tired by the time I got to the interior, and I just really wanted to be done, and this house took way longer than it was supposed to, and so I was just kind of in a rush at that point. And so it's not gonna end up being in that world, but that's what the plan was when I started building this. And I'm just gonna, when I do houses like that, I don't even know if I'm always gonna mention it to you guys. I may, I don't know, but I'm just gonna leave the pre-made Sims, like whoever's living there, I'm just gonna leave them there because I don't usually change that stuff when I play. And also, I'm just not very creative at coming up with my own stories, and I'm not great at create a Sim, so I think I'm just gonna leave them. And then this was actually the house that I'm not sure how to say their name. I think it's the Fires because it's spelled the same way that the Fire Festival was. So I think that's how you say it. If I'm wrong, let me know. I don't mind. But yeah, this is their lot. This is where their house was. So I was kind of building it for them. I mean, the exterior really doesn't have anything to do with them, but the interior I kind of tried to build for this family because I hadn't decided at that point that I didn't really like this house enough to keep it in my new world. So this is just a regular build. I probably shouldn't even be talking about that. But anyway, it is a 64 by 64 lot, so it's massive. And I needed that because I wanted to put a lot of water around it. But the shell is actually pretty big. I don't know the actual dimensions of the shell, but it was a lot when I got to the interior. So I feel like it's pretty decently sized house. It was a big house, to be honest. It's definitely a castle. In that sense, it's very big. But one thing that I do want to talk about with the shell of this house is that I actually really wanted to include the tunnel that was in the inspiration picture. So in that artwork, there is a little tunnel that's going underneath the castle, and I thought that was just such a cool detail, and I really wanted to include it, but I wasn't sure how. And I ended up using the foundation instead of using the just regular rooms. And I actually am thinking now that if I had used the regular rooms, it would have been a lot easier just to kind of cut out that middle part and just not have any rooms there, and just put stairs on like both sides of it. I should have done that, but I didn't. I used the foundation, and that made everything a little bit more complicated. So to do that with the foundation, I actually had to cut that room in half on the first floor. So I had to add these 2 walls, which is basically what I would have done if I had just used walls instead of the foundation. So I had to create a room basically in the middle of that first floor where I wanted the tunnel to be underneath it. And then I grabbed one of those foundation choices, and I'm not sure what it's called, so I don't know how to tell you guys, but it's the ones that have the columns basically, so you can see underneath it. It's not the one that's completely invisible, because I cannot get that one to work when I try to use it. I see other people use it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but every time I use it, it has this weird blue glitchy look about it, and you know what, it looks like the sky, the sky in The Sims. That's what it looks like, but it's underneath the house, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So if any of you guys know, let me know, because I can never use that foundation for that reason, and I would really like to sometimes. But you can kind of see, I think that went by really fast, but you could kind of see where I had that room. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, because technically I needed to keep those walls there. I did find a way to work around that though, but I'll talk about that when we get into the interior. But basically for that room, I did use that particular foundation. Like I said, I don't remember what it's called. But then for the rest of the castle, I used just a regular stone foundation. So it looks like there's a little tunnel underneath this house, which I think is really cool. And I put a little boat in the water before it's over. It's not a very cute boat. I think it's one of the debug base game boats. So it's not very on theme with the rest of the build, but it's a boat, and it's very cute, and it looks like it's kind of pointed towards the tunnel, and I don't know why, I just really like that detail. And then the rest of the exterior of this castle doesn't really match the inspiration picture, because I was a little bit unsure of not having as much details, because I usually put a lot of stuff in my build, so it's not, unless I'm building really modern stuff, I usually have a lot of landscaping and windows and stuff like that. And so I was a little bit unsure of leaving all that stuff off. And I am actually going to change the windows that are on the little round parts of the castle, because I didn't realize that they weren't compatible with the round rooms. And so I didn't realize that until later. So I swap them out to one of the very few windows that do work with the round rooms. And then I had this little tower off to the side, and you can kind of see it now. And that was in the inspiration picture, so I included it. But I am just now realizing that I didn't put anything actually inside that tower. You should be able to get to it, and you can go into it and everything. But I forgot to actually put anything in there. But it's the smallest round room, so you can't actually place a ladder in there or anything like that. So I knew that I was only going to use the bottom floor, but it's completely empty because I completely forgot to go back and add something in there. I'll try to do that before I upload this to the gallery. But I actually haven't even playtested this build yet. You know what? That's a lie. I actually did the other day while I was taking screenshots. I playtested the interior of the house and some of the exterior, but I had completely forgotten about the tower. It was like it didn't exist to me, so I did not playtest that side of the build, so I'll have to go back and do that. But also on the exterior of this build, I used those, what is it? It's a roof detail, and I think I'm going to completely butcher this word, and I'm so sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but is it the freezes? The roof freezes? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. But it's like that little detail that goes at the very top of the room. And I used those the other day when I built my modern spa. And in that video, I talked about how much trouble I had with them, and they kept deleting themselves or they kept disappearing. And I had the same amount of trouble with this build. I don't know if I'm just really bad at using them or if they are just that frustrating to everyone. I don't think I've ever seen a lot of people build with them. So I don't know if I've ever heard anyone talk about it, but let me know if you have a huge amount of trouble when you use that as well. Maybe I'm just placing it too early in the build. Maybe I need to wait until that be the last thing that I do when I'm building, because I was so done with it. I'm telling you, it's just, I don't know why, but I'm having so much trouble with them. And with this build, they weren't really disappearing as much as appearing in the interior at random times, which was driving me crazy. But thankfully, I was able to delete them easily without deleting everything on the exterior as well. I think there was only one area in the very end that it had kind of disappeared from, And where it disappeared from, I don't know how to describe it, but it didn't matter. Like, you were never going to see it or notice it or anything like that. So I was fine with it. But yeah, I just had a lot of trouble with them. On those two little balconies, I'm going to call them that. There's only one of them that you can actually walk out onto. But on those two little kind of bump out foundation pieces on the second and third floor, I had just had so much trouble placing that on those little areas, and it wouldn't let me place a fence once I placed the freeze. Like I said, I may be saying that wrong, but once I placed that, it wouldn't let me place a fence underneath it, or it would delete it, or it would like extend it further than I wanted it to be extended, so it wasn't even attached to the building in some places. And so, long story short, I don't know if I'm ever building with those again. I'm so done with it. And I'm not complaining. I totally think it's a me problem. I don't think it's got anything to do with the actual game mechanics. I really think it's me messing it up. But for whatever reason, I am just absolutely terrible with that particular item when I'm building. Like, it's just awful. And this is the second time now. So I did give it another try and it did not get any better. So if I do ever try to use them again, then it's going to be the last thing that I place when I'm building. Like, nothing else gets done after that. That's the last thing that I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be a while before I try to use those again. Anyway, this here is the entrance kind of to the build because it's surrounded by water. So on the one side that has the tower, I just kind of lifted up the ground underneath the water till it was just like barely underneath it. And I think your Sims could probably wade through the water, but like I said, I haven't actually play tested that yet. I have to go back and do that. But then this area, I didn't want it to be that complicated, so I wanted to just add like a little bridge, but I wanted it to look nice, so I grabbed one of these little bridges from the debug menu, and I did the basement trick to use this so that it would still be functional. So I built a basement under that area, and then I placed the object in the basement so that it won't affect your Sims being able to walk over it. And then I lifted it up. I used T.O.O.L to lift it up, so I don't know how far I lifted it up or anything like that, because I just used the T.O.O.L mod to kind of bring it up. But anyway, that's what I did there, and it is functional. I did test that part, and it works, and your Sims can walk over it. Their feet clip just a little bit in there, but I've had that happen worse, so it's not even the worst like kind of glitch that you can have when you're doing stuff like that. But this is the entrance of the build, so it's kind of on the side of the build as far as the gallery picture goes. It's to the left side. And that's really the majority of this lot. That's where the ground is, basically. All the usable areas of the ground anyway, because you guys have seen me place down a lot of landscaping. So I pretty much covered up most of the lot with landscaping. So that little area in front of the house is pretty much the only area that your Sims can use. And so, like I said, I was building this for the family that was originally here, which I think is the Fire family. And that mother, I think, likes to garden. But you know what? It's been a couple days since I did all this, so I may be getting all of this wrong. But I think it's the mother that really likes to garden. And so I wanted to have a bunch of gardening boxes and stuff like that for her. So most of the exterior of the build is kind of dedicated to that. I think I put one of those flower arranging tables out there as well, just because I thought it looked cute. But we are into the interior now. So this is a 3-story house, and I actually did not record me doing the floor plan for this build because I think that took an hour itself, and I didn't feel like anyone would want to see it. And also, this is where it got really complicated with the foundation, because you can kind of see those really faint white lines that are running down the middle of this build. I know the camera's moving around really fast because I was trying to fit this part in as fast as I could, but every now and then on this first floor you'll be able to see these little white faint lines that are running, and that's the area that doesn't have the foundation underneath it. That's where our tunnel is. And so basically what I had to do was do the floor plan just like normally and go on and delete those walls. And when I deleted the walls, it meant that the foundation just returned back to normal, and I couldn't place it again like that. I actually didn't try it. Now it's just now occurring to me that I probably should have tried that before I went through all of this that I'm about to say. But anyway, I did not try it, but I'm pretty sure that if I had tried to place that same foundation, that it would have tried to fill up the whole room. So it wouldn't have been a tunnel anymore, and it would have messed up the exterior. So I didn't try it, but I think that it would have messed up. But anyway, what I ended up doing was then after I had the floor plan done the way I knew I wanted it, I went on and placed those walls again where I wanted the tunnel to go. But instead of deleting the walls, I turned them into the spandrels. And then I deleted the spandrels one tile at a time. And somehow that worked. And it did not delete my tunnel, and it didn't mess with the foundation. And I don't know why that worked. And like I said, I didn't even try it the other way. I may not have even needed to do that. But if for some reason you ever need to put a tunnel in your builds, that is one way to do it, is to use spandrels and then delete them very, very slowly. And it should not delete your foundation. At least as of this build, it did not. I was so tired of that, though. I will tell you, like, it was a little bit of a pain. And I kind of hate that you can still see those lines, but I feel like in the scheme of things with this particular build, I don't even care, because it was hard enough to get that tunnel. And that was the one part of this build that I really, really wanted. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You can definitely see them, but maybe not. If you're not looking for them, maybe you don't notice them. I'm actually trying to remember how many bedrooms this build had. I want to say 5. I think it ended up with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. And this is the only bathroom you guys are going to see me decorate, because I just basically did the same thing with the other ones, or I used the same objects pretty much. But that first floor has a bathroom. I think it has 2 living areas, a kitchen, a dining room, and then I think I included a music room, because I kind of want to think the father of this family is a musician. Maybe he's just an entertainer. I'm not sure. I probably should have paid more attention to all of that. But for some reason, I thought about music. And I had so many rooms in this build that I did have to include a lot of hobbies. Like, I needed some stuff that wasn't necessarily a bedroom, because on these rooms that are attached to these towers, they're just really hard to build with. It's an awkward space, and it's kind of weird to put a bedroom there. I did put one of the bedrooms is in one of those rooms. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird space for a bedroom. And so I had all these rooms and I had to fill them up somehow. So this little area is a gym. It's a really small gym, but it's attached to that bedroom. So it's kind of weird because there's no other way to access that besides walking through this bedroom. So maybe that's whoever is living there, that's just their personal gym. I don't know, but maybe I should have just closed the round rooms off. I don't know. They're very hard to build with, in my opinion. And also, I have trouble placing items there sometimes. Like when I try to place the items, it will push it. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know. I didn't have a lot of luck with this build. This was not one of the easiest builds I've done. I do really like it. I like the exterior and how it turned out. It's just, it was kind of hard to get there. So that's okay though. But yeah, the interior is just not my favorite. I feel like I didn't put enough time into it or enough detail. And so I probably will put another build here before it's over. But for now, I'm kind of done with the 64 by 64 lots. I'm going to take a break from that as well because, oh my goodness, this didn't even cover up the whole lot. Most of this was water and it still just took me so long. So I'll just take a break from the 64 by 64 lots for sure. But one other thing about this build, and I don't think I've mentioned this so far, but this build kind of made my game lag a little bit, and I'm not really sure why. I may have to like try fixing my game or something like that because I don't really feel like this build should have made it lag because even though it's a big build and there's a lot of landscaping details, it's really not that detailed of a build. But for some reason it was lagging and it was giving me a little bit of problems when I was playtesting it. So I will have to see if I can sort that out because I don't feel like this build should have caused that. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all are doing really, really well. And I will talk to you guys soon in another speed build.